Greetings, of peace, and to everyone out there. Thank you all for tuning in to another one of my videos. Thank you for tuning in to hearing me speak as best I can about the issues in the prison system. As I said, I did 25 years off a life sentence, and I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot. Still learning every day. I learned a lot, not only about others, but more important, I learned a lot about myself. So I'm just here to speak on some of the things that I've learned about in hopes of helping reach the youth. And maybe something I say will influence them to see things better, see things a little differently, and move in a better direction. And anybody else who's watching this, maybe I can offer a nugget of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. They may have us say, okay, I like that. And, adjust or move accordingly. So, because I learn every single day. Every day I'm reading something out of a book. I'm watching the news. I'm watching the television. I'm learning something, so, and hopefully incorporating it as best I can into my daily life. On this video, I want to speak about the gangs in prison. The gangs. First and foremost, if you come up in the inner city and you represented a neighborhood, you represented a street, you represented a group of guys, that's a gang. A lot of guys used to try to argue that when I was locked up, because at first it was just a neighborhood thing. I'm from this neighborhood, you from that neighborhood. We fought, we sold drugs, we defended each other, we acted stupid. That's a gang mentality. So that's a gang, Now you have more organized gangs. You have colors, they have handshakes and, graffiti or certain writing, languages. I remember looking at a letter one time. There was by a guy I dealt with, he was a blood, and I saw a letter. I didn't understand anything. I understand, some of the letters were backwards, some letters were crossed out. There were arrows here and there. I'm like, good gracious, what I'm saying? It looks alien to me, but it's a whole language, and they understand it. I didn't understand anything, like one or two words in the whole paragraph, like honestly. So, we can complain about the gangs, we can dislike the gangs, but they're here, and they're here to stay for a long time. And why are they here? They're here because there was a promotion of them. I'm not going to get into that. That's more political, I guess, but there's a promotion. If I control a radio station and someone like Lupe Fiasco, a conscious rapper, or Common, a conscious rapper, or David Banner or Talib Kweli or Mos Def, if I promote them once a day and there's a song about strength or loving the community or just a nice vibe, or I turn around and I play gangster music. Now, again, the gangster music, or that, what they call that drill music, that's what they're calling it now, coming out of Chicago. If I promote that 20, 30 times in an hour, that is what draws the attention of the people. That is what draws the eyes and the hearts of the people, especially the youth. And so that is what I'm going to emulate. I'm not going to emulate what I barely see. That's like a father coming to see his child once every other month, or a man that comes and visits that child every day, who's coming with a good heart and honesty. Who's the child going to appreciate the most? The one that they see every day, because that is proof in their care, right? So it's the same with the rap. I'm going to listen to and like what I hear every day. Even if I dislike the lyrics, the beat's going to grab me. Next thing I know, I'm moving in them. I'm repeating the songs. Next thing you know, I'm absorbing it. So, that is an art, right? The art of promotion, the art of messaging, subliminal as well. So, okay. But they're here. They're here. And when I first saw them, like, okay, I saw guys throwing hand signals. I'm like, okay. I thought, okay, these guys from California. I didn't know the guy was from Richmond. I didn't know the guy was from Norfolk. I didn't know the guy was from Tidewater. I didn't know one or two of them was from D.C. Like, hold on, how you throwing up gang signs? You ain't from Cali, So, we done had arguments, debates, and the bottom line is, man, wherever you from, You want a family. You know, you want a family. You want someone that you can sit with, you can talk to, you can relate to. And there are those, yes, that join gangs in prison and on the street out of fear, out of pressure, because your neighborhood is in a gang. You have 40, 50 guys sitting on a car, sitting over here, and you coming walking through, and everybody wearing red or wearing blue or wearing gray or wearing purple, whatever they're wearing, you not wearing that color. And they begin to insist that you wear that color, or you're going to take this butt whipping every day until you wear that color. Now, you wear the color to appease them, but you don't claim what they claim. But when you go to school or you go into another neighborhood that wearing the color of the opposition, you know, then you got to fight that. So now once you fight that, you come back to the neighborhood, they're going to say, oh, man, you got beat up by who? Oh, we Adam. So now when they defend you, you feel loved. You feel embraced. You feel accepted. You feel like a part of, even if you don't like it. Now you with them. Now you claiming what they claim, and you taking everything that comes with it. You're on the corner. Somebody comes past, shoot it up. You getting hit. You know, they hand you some drugs, man. You out here, shake out. They give you some drugs. You making money. Now you with them. So you done went from going to school every day, minding your business, to being changed by the environment. And a lot of people say, oh, be strong, walk through, ignore it. Okay, like I say, get your butt beat every day and tell me how it feels. You know, go ahead and endure that pressure every day. Now, if you can do that, you strong. You strong, and your resolve is, man, almost absolute. But most of us, because we're social creatures, most of us, man, we succumb. Again, look at the inner cities. Look at the prisons and who fills up the prisons and jails. Inner city youth, urban folk, ghetto, you know. So when the gangs come, I remember it was a gang fight, big one. It was more of a war. It was the Crips and the Bloods in Nottoway. And we was in B building on Nottoway. I was in the top floor. And we had two Crips in the pod. And you had, you know, like more, you had like about 4 Bloods in the pod, and you had different pods. Each pod had a different, you know, balance or imbalance. You had, you know, 1 Crip, 4 Bloods, 5 Crips, 2 Bloods, etc. So, you know, you sitting in the pod and the CO walks through. When the CO walks through, he's doing his rounds. So what you hear is, you know, the crackling of his radio. Then you hear 1033, 1033, upper end, 1033. And 1033 is the code for fight, inmates fighting. So when they hear that, most COs who aren't in the booth because the booth officer has to regulate the doors, they can't go anywhere and they're not going anywhere. But those that are mobile, they run. Unless their post where they are is essential. So they have to stay and man that post, but they run. So you see the police that is in our pod, he take off. Boom. Everybody looking outside, you know, because now everybody wondering what the fight is, right? So everybody's in the pod, the kitchen. There's people in the child hall. I mean, the prison is open at the moment. So you got people going to and from. So you got guys yelling out the window, hey, what's up, what's up? So you hear, it was a Blood yell out the window, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? He put his ear, and whatever he received had him go to a couple other Bloods. When they got the whispering, the front door had opened. They said, I want to say it was rec call. No, because they had suspended, you know, once that happened at 1033, they stopped rec. But they still run child, but sometimes there's a miscommunication. So the door opened and some guys came in, like, you know, from school. When you go to, when the doors are open at 12:30 after count has cleared, the first thing you hear is school child. And so those that are going to school, whether at 12:30, 1:30, they like to get them out the way. So they go to the child hall first. They eat child, and those that may go to school at 1:30, those 12:30, they come back to the pod. So that's what it was. The door opened. Some of the school child guys came in, and one of the Crip dudes slid out the door, right? Because evidently he done found out somehow that the fight was Bloods and Crips in upper end. And we're in upper B. Mind you, this is a little guy. This is a little guy. He goes around the corner on the boulevard, which is where our building is. He has to walk down about 60, 70 yards. Then he has to hook a right and go all the way around the corner about 100 yards to a whole nother building. He goes all the way around there, and what does he find? He finds 4 Bloods right? Because they are running up and down the stairs in different parts, and they fighting. And at that time, the Bloods were a larger group at Nottoway, you know, and many soldiers in both nations, both organizations, you know, and some people don't like that term, want to call them gangs, but there are many that are out there, man, literally protecting the neighborhood. There are many out there that have organization, boxing clubs, schools. I know Bloods and Crips, man, in prison right now who help guys learn how to read and write and don't want you in gangs. You know, they are who they are, but they will tell you, now, don't be a part of this. Good dudes all, I swear. Not everybody. You got fools in every organization. You got fools in religion. And sometimes you have a group of fools, right? So, but, yeah, so the guy, he ran out, and when he ran into the Bloods, one of them said, man, what you over here for? And a Blood saw him, right? And they know who he is. Like, sometimes they just know each other because when you come on the compound, you know, you get, and they'll say, oh, he from here, he from there, he claimed this, he claimed that. So the Bloods knew the young dude, you know what I'm saying? And one of them said, man, what you over here for, right? Man, and the other one, he said, man, and this is from the guy's account, but there was a couple of guys that literally walked past. And the guy said, man, F that, and knocked that man out. Like, hit him from the side, boom, knocked him out, left him there. Police walked past him, you know what I'm saying? They running up and down the stairs, they see him. You know, he recovered. He came back to the pod that night, maybe around 8 o'clock. You know, eventually he woke up, went to medical, and same thing in the kitchen, you know, because they normally lock the compound down. But what you had was a warden. At the moment, we had what we called a sweet warden. And a sweet warden is somebody that, man, is trying to allow the compound to be open. Open up them rec yard. Let them guys go out there and you know, burn off that energy. Open up the schools. Let guys go to these programs. Let them go to religious programs. Let them get their GEDs, because you have some wardens that their mentality is keep it as closed and as cramped as possible. And though that may minimize the violence sometimes, what you do is you suppress it. So when it does open up, guys are clashing because you have guys that might have yelled at each other, disrespected each other while them doors are closed, and they just can't wait to get at each other. Then you got guys that are sitting in the cell for days in, days out, and they just depressed. They miserable, man. So, and it's a weight, you know, it's a weight. So when you have an open compound, guys try to get to compounds like that, not necessarily to always participate in foolishness, but to just be able to get out the cell, to get out the pod, to stretch your legs, right? So we had a warden that, you know, was kind of all right, man. He had just gotten there. He was trying to make the compound better, and every warden is different. Every compound is different. So they didn't lock us down, which they normally do when there's a gang fight, you know what I mean? So that guy was knocked out. There were a couple more fights. There was no stabbing. There was like ultimately 4 fights up and in. That was the biggest. That was like, it was like 3 Crips and maybe 4 Bloods, and they clashed. You know, they was clashing hard. So, you know, the youngin' in our pod, he got knocked out. And I want to say it was a couple Crips that outnumbered a Blood in a C building. And so they kind of got the best of him. You know, and again, the police were running all around for about an hour, right? We're in the kitchen that evening, and, you know, everyone's eating, everyone's talking about it, man. Who was that? Such and such, man. What happened? So, you know, everybody's talking about, you know, the fights, and everybody have their fingers crossed because no one wants to go on lock. It's like springtime, I think. I think it was like May or something because the weather was good. Everyone wants to go in the rec yard morning, noon, and night. So we don't want no lockdowns, man. And lo and behold, I think I'm sitting there with a couple guys I deal with, and you just hear pop, and you look up, and the guy was sliding down, and, you know, guy stole the guy with the milk machine, man. I'm talking about, like, he hit him. He didn't go out, but he went down. And next thing you know, guy just started popping up, started fighting. It was probably like about, it was like 4 on 2. And they going at it. Again, you hear the COs, like 3 COs in there. So a lot of COs, man, depending on who they are, how their heart is, they not trying to get in the middle of a big fight. 2 people, all right, but like 6, 7, 8. So one of the COs grabbed his walkie-talkie, 1033, chow hall, 1033, 1033. So everybody from the other chow hall, because Nottoway has 2, and it's a gate in between. So you have inmates running to the gate, trying to see what's going on. And these are gang members. So some of them trying to get, like, they shaking the gate, but you can't, it's bolted shut. So they can't get on the other side. So the police on that side is saying, sit down, sit down. You hearing it's just ruckus. You sit down, sit down. So, you know, you looking at where you sitting, you making sure ain't no gang members behind you. Not because you involved, but because, like I say, some guys take the moment of chaos to, you know, exercise their own vengeance and madness. You know, now it's time for, you know, me to get my thing off, you know, because it's chaos. Everything is going. You got guys, you know what I'm saying, to look at the COs, and the COs are directed. This is no lie. You got COs trying to pull these guys apart and everything. You got guys up at the booth looking back, trying to get a slot. Hey, let me get a tray. Let me get a tray. You know, you got guys in there trying to get out the door because now they done stole all the food they can get out the slot where you put the trays. They trying to get all the food. They're like, man, get out. And they run into the door trying to get out of there. So during a moment of chaos, it's like moments where there are peaceful marches, and you got fools that might throw a brick or a bottle, and that causes, you know, chaos, you know, and everybody using that moment to get out what's inside, you know what I mean, at that moment. So it's the same thing. You got guys who's throwing cups at the COs in the back of their head and hitting them. And so now when you hear that, because the chow hall is like about 30 feet, 40, 50 feet away from what they call the watch office. That's where the, you know, COs usually are concentrated. I mean, they're scattered throughout the prison, but that's their base. You know, that's where they come and sit. So sometime any given moment, it's like 10 of them over there or whatever. So they run over there. Boom. So when they run over there, they pulling out pepper spray. Get down, get down. The guys, when I say they tussling. They fighting, they hitting each other. Some guys sliding because it's, you know, juice right there. It's juice machines, the milk machines. So now juice has been spilled. So guys slipping and falling. So some guys, when they hit the COs, they trying to slide out of the melee, right, and find a seat and sit back. And it worked sometime, you know. And that was a wild day. You know, there was a lot of, like I said, it was no stabbings. And that was the blessing. That was the blessing, because sometimes, you know, I've known guys that get stabbed and didn't make it. And I'll talk about that, you know, even from the gang perspective. I remember one day, it was like one weekend, had to be about 5 fights, but 3 stabbings. And we went on a major lockdown for 3 months at Nottoway. 3 months. We didn't get showers for the first 4 days. We didn't get showers for the first 4 days. And when they shake down, they come through, they check your cells thoroughly. But because of this, they checked every cell with a fine-tooth comb. And they didn't even use COs from Nottoway, like a handful. They called COs from other prisons, because the COs where you at may know you. And so they don't want to shake your cell down, because they know you either a good dude or whatever they bond is with you. They, you know, they might slack. They may not look in every crevice. Nah, they call officers from other prisons that don't know you. They go on through your cell because you're a stranger to them. They just got a job to do, right? So that, you know, it was a little young guy. He found out a guy had snitched on the blood, you know, and the young guy, he was one of them guys that was wild. Like he was little. He was probably like 120 pounds, but man, had the heart of a lion. When I say heart, he wasn't a troublemaker. Like he really was laughing. Hey, bro, Khalid, what's going on, man? Good little dude, little BG, man. But man, listen, when I say he was loyal to a fault, more often than not, people use that. And one of the Bloods had told him, man, his co-defendant was up there. This co-defendant snitched on him, and, you know, he showed him the paperwork, man. Little BG caught the youngin' in the stairwell and stabbed him like 5 times in his chest, man. And, you know, dude, the word was he died. He never came back to Nottoway. They medevaced him out of there, you know, and I honestly do not know whether he died or not, man. But I didn't see BG after that. He never came back on Nottoway compound. And the guy was medevaced, you know, with the helicopter out of there. And I never saw him again. And usually, you know, the prison wire is, oh, BG got shipped to Sussex, or BG got shipped to Red Onion. Man, dude, all right, he recovered. I honestly can't remember. I know BG was shipped, and he did go to a higher level prison, but I don't know what happened to the guy. But, you know, BG ran up on him, and that was one stabbing on a Saturday, and it was another one that night, and it was another one on a Sunday. That was another severe situation. Another guy got medevaced, and after that, we were on lock, man, for, like I say, 3 months, you know, in the cells, a shower every 2, maybe 3 days, and it's hot, summertime. And, you know, like I said, we had a decent ward, and he was trying to open it up. And so for about a good month, and I'm going to say that's 2 weeks, it was just what you call wide open. Like the doors, the gates, the COs seemed happy. It was wide open, man. And just, you know, one of those weekends, man, it was just violent. It was just violent. And we were on lock as a result for 3 months. And, you know, no visits for about a month, no canteen, none of that. You sit up in the cell, you smell your sweat, you smell your funk, you take that for 3 months. And that's just what it was, man, because of the results of other people, you know, and these are the consequences even in life. So, like I say, that gang fight, it was big. It was messy. You know, it was a lot of some broken jaws, a lot of people beat down, a lot of tension, a lot of fear. And we went on lock for about a week. Like I say, you know, this particular ward, he wasn't trying to hold everybody accountable for the actions of a few if he knew the few. So everybody that was, you know, caught in these fights, they pulled them, you know, they pulled them to the side. And sometimes they know the gang leaders. They actually know the gang leaders. And they'll call the gang leaders to the watch office and talk to them and be like, look, how far is this going? What's going on? Is it over? And sometimes a ward, a major, they may trust the gang leader because the gang leader himself may be a stand-up guy for whatever you feel about him. Sometimes you have gang leaders, man, I'll be honest with you, that if something is silly that jumps off with the gangs, if asked what's going on, or if asked, man, stop this, man. You have some that aren't caught up on power. They aren't caught up on ignorance and foolishness and rah-rah. Now, some really just are in that position for whatever reason. And they do use their influence rightly, and they will sit their boys there and they be like, nah, sit down, stop, cease, you know, or meet up with other leaders, like, look, this is what we want. And if it's real stressful, you know, real serious, they'll set up what you call one-on-ones, fair fights. They'll be like, look, man, let such and such meet up with such and such over in the pod, in the cell, let them get it off their chest, right? So the gang situation is real. You know, I'll talk more about some other situations, man, you know, good and ill, but you know, like I say, it's prevalent and it's out here. It's out here. And again, a lot of these guys, man, they just want families. They want families. They want people that can relate to them. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be seen. And a lot of times, you know, what we have to do is start listening to them, you know, not accommodating everything, not coddling, but listen to them and pay attention, because we wanted the same, most of us, when we were young. So there's a solution for everything. We just got to be willing to, you know, come up with it and implement it. Thank you all again, man, for listening. Check me out, you know, on my Instagram page, Khalid Kareem 75. You'll see that I'm sincere in my efforts in working with the youth and striving to grow, striving to evolve. Check me out on my, you know, my Facebook page, same thing, my name, Khalid Kareem. And, you know, like I say, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves first and foremost. Love yourselves, and know that, you know, if you have family members, you know, people in your neighborhood that you can speak a good word to, you know, sometimes it's best to speak a good word. Just speak, you know, a good word into their heart. Put a good word into the atmosphere, and that's a contribution, man, you know. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for, you know, rolling with me, rocking with me, man, and walking this journey with me. It means a great deal. It really does. And, you know, I'm humbled by it. So have a good day and take care of yourselves. Appreciate you. Peace.